What?
I'm so nervous.
Why are you nervous? Why?
I was at the
There's
doctor's
nothing to
today.
be nervous about.
I was at the doctor's today, and I had to
Yeah.
go up in the elevator.
Yeah.
The elevator was really dark.
Yeah.
I'm claustrophobic, and I don't like it. That's what I would sound like if I got punched by Omni-Man.
That's also the sound you'd make knowing that the Switch's lifespan is officially ending and we're getting a new Switch. Also,
That's the sound I'd make with Nintendo's actual, like, let's get our first prediction in for the Switch 2, which has been confirmed today, the day that we are recording episode 173 of the Double D Experience, which is what you're listening to right now. Sometimes gaming, sometimes not gaming, but always fucking gaming, baby. The Switch 2 has been officially announced. There's been a tweet Furukawa, the current sitting president of Nintendo, and like Nintendo, not Nintendo of America, Nintendo of the fucking motherland.
of Japan.
Of Japan. Let me pull that up real quick. Furukawa literally tweeted it today on the official Nintendo account. And, you know, they don't have their own individual account. They just tweeted it on the official Nintendo Co. Ltd. account saying, "This is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. We will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. That was back when we all called it like the NX. There was the rumors and stuff. That was its code name, you know, just like the GameCube was Project Dolphin before that came out. The Wii was the Revolution, all that stuff. They have their code names to make sure the shit doesn't get leaked. We will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June. Confirmed Nintendo Direct for June, as well, eating good Nintendo fans, regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the latter half of 2024, cause you know that shit gonna be more remasters, probably. But please be aware, there will be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during that presentation.
What a blue ball at the end.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I kind of felt like I had to go to a different kind of doctor today, because I went to a plastic surgeon about, like, that cyst that was on my head and whatnot.
No,
real sweet lady, too. Real sweet lady, too. Made me feel real comfortable. Young, too. Very relatable. I was nice with that. But after reading that tweet, it made me feel like I had to go to a different kind of doctor. You know, one more so focused on the bowels and the asshole. Because I was both blue-balled and my ass hurt, so I was butt-hurt at the same time. Felt like I had to go both. He told us, like, oh man, Furukawa blows hot and cold. I feel bad for his wife. You know, I can only imagine, like, how that shit probably goes. Probably like, I wanna fuck. Then he's just like, nah, I changed my mind. Imagine you're sitting in the bedroom and somebody turns the light switch on, like, after it's off and then puts that shit back off. That was what this tweet was.
I was even thinking he was probably like, I wanna fuck, but then it's like, she's like thinking, oh my god, is he like, you know, is he just gonna like fucking ravage me? He just
give me that Big Daddy Nintendo cock.
Yeah, he just lies down on the bed. It's just like doesn't do anything.
After like an 18-hour day.
He just expects her to do everything. It's just like, I'm the CEO of Nintendo. I don't have to do anything.
I mean, like, real talk. I mean, obviously there's like problems in that marriage in and of itself if like that's the situation that's going on. But let's be real, an 18-hour Japanese workday running the biggest fucking company, one of the biggest companies on the planet. I don't know how much energy I have for thrusting, you know what I mean? If it's an ego thing, like, I'm the CEO of Nintendo, like, fuck you, man, just eat out your wife.
It's also the same with Leo, though.
Take one of those, like, you know, like, prototype Joy-Cons that you got, like, in the back. Just shove that shit in. What the fuck are we talking about? Oh my god, the Switch 2! Okay, so we officially have it confirmed.
What an image. He just like brings home a prototype Joy-Con.
I am sorry to have put the mental image of
like, hey,
President
wife,
Furukawa.
I'm gonna jam this into you.
Oh my lord. Sounds like something you'd find on like r/fuck gaming. Definitely, if you're looking for like a weird ass subreddit to go to.
It's the most.
I promise you,
image.
r/fuck gaming is not the subreddit you think it is.
Oh god,
it's not like
so
an anti-gaming like Anita Sarkeesian fucking like Anita Sarkeesian was right like webpage. No, it's people having sex while playing video games. There's gotta be one woman in there who took a Joy-Con and shoved it up her Jack Johnson for the world to see. Okay.
Like she just loves Nintendo that much. Oh my god, I love Nintendo.
But which Joy-Con does she use? The left or the right? Because depending on which one, the right one has the infrared sensor.
We're getting into specifics, aren't we? Huh?
Well, I'm bringing that up because if you want to talk about actual predictions for the Switch 2, I'll tell you one thing that Nintendo is going to say this thing is going to have that I guarantee it will not. One thing that Nintendo really impressed the boardroom with whatever fucker in that building decided to be like, what if these handheld controllers, the portable controllers, when you touch something hot in game, the Joy-Con gets hot. And then when your character is drinking a milkshake, it gets cold.
So what, Daniel Day-Lewis was in that fucking meeting too?
Oh, absolutely. He definitely went and was just like, you see, Nintendo, I'm an oil man. That oil is extracted from the US soil on my grounds and is transported to this facility here. That's how he talks. That's his whole speech. I'm serious though. The Nintendo's wanted to do that for years. You go back to the original Switch presentations, I think they said the Switch Joy-Cons were gonna have that. And then, if you go all the way back to the original E3 showcases for the Nintendo Wii, they said the Wii Remote was gonna have that functionality. A temperature changer inside of it, where it gets warm if your character touches something warm, and it gets cold when your character touches something cold. And like their demo was that like it was Twilight Princess. Link was in like an ice world or whatever, and then the Wii Remote.
Yeah. Okay, you would have felt the cold. Okay.
That feature, as we all know, never exactly made it to the final presentation or the final rendition of the Wii that we all know and love. Because I can only imagine whatever board of like, ethical product consumption that like has to approve these things before they come to market probably went to like the board of directors of Nintendo and be like, are you guys fucking stupid? This is a horrible idea. Right? I mean, like
it would have been fun to see though. I honestly would have loved to see that. But then, after like a month or two, and then some people actually getting hurt by using it, they'll be like some people in the boardroom be like, like tell the guys at R&D like, cut it, stop.
Like the fucking Cat in the Hat scene. It's like, cut it, yo, cut that shit, yo, stop. Right? Because like I can imagine. That's not worth the lawsuit risk. Litigation-wise, that's not worth it. What if that shit is not secure inside the remote, leaks out, causes house fires or something? What if it's just, like, not pleasurable to the player, who, like, now my hand is at a temperature I don't want it to be at, but now it's like, I'm really there. Whoa. And the reason I'm bringing all this up is because that's my prediction. I think they're gonna, on the E3 presentation, not E3 presentations, because E3's fine. E3, that shit's gone.
Oh, yeah.
But on the Nintendo Direct. On the Nintendo Direct, they're gonna be like, look, there's like virtual reality. The Joy-Cons, they get hot or cold depending on what environment you're in. They're gonna say it's gonna have that shit again. And then whatever fucker has been telling Nintendo no for like the past almost 20 years at this point, it's not gonna be in the finalized product of the Switch 2. That is my prediction, or like my main prediction before we move on to the other gaming topics in about 10 or so minutes. They're gonna say it's gonna have that shit again. It's not gonna have it. And my price point, if I had to guess, it's gonna be a Switch with an actual good, like, powerful NVIDIA chip, still probably a generation behind as the mainline Switches was, because the main Switch launched with an outdated NVIDIA chip because of how big of a commercial failure the Wii U was. They didn't want to spend too much money. Especially after the pay cut that Iwata took at the time to ensure that they didn't have to do any layoffs or anything.
Yeah.
Base CEO, by the way, God rest his soul. There will never be a CEO like him again. I will dick ride him forever. I don't agree with everything Nintendo does, but I will dick ride Iwata. Yeah. Beyond, God rest that man's soul for what he did. Glad he at least knew about the Switch before he died, by the way. So my guess before I pass to Dennis, updated NVIDIA chip, graphics are way better, still going to be a generation behind as Nintendo always is. $400 price tag, or actually, no, $350 price tag, $400 for a deluxe version. That's going to come with more storage, I should say.
I can agree with both of those. Okay. I could see $350 being the base. I could maybe even see maybe 425 as like the deluxe, depending on I guess like what they're gonna.
That's a weird price tag. That's very specific.
Only because like that new like that deluxe whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I feel as if for this time around, like, cause they'll definitely be trying to push a lot of other stuff that I feel as if it's gonna be coming with. I can't say for sure what a lot of that new stuff will be. But I know that at least as far as the Switch Online, I don't know how much of a commercial success or failure it's been for the last like couple of years or ever since its like release in the system.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling they're going to be trying to push that a lot because I feel as if especially for any console such as the Switch to kind of thrive, it's like those initial product sales is gonna be important. Of course, it will be. But the thing that's gonna basically keep that thing alive, like financially speaking, is how much money it can generate after someone's already bought it. And a lot of times it is like those online services, like PSN or even Xbox Live, like,
not abandoning the subscription model. They're going to keep that going.
Yeah, they're probably going to keep that. But I feel as if they're going to be pushing that like thing a lot, like this time around. Because I
wholeheartedly agree. They're like every company on the planet's doing that shit right now. Casual gamers purchase it enough because it's not even just the bonus features like the games or like the classic games you can play for the subscription model or like the special bonuses that you'll get on the eShop or discounts. No, you literally have to pay for it to even play games online with the thing. So I mean, in that regard, as somebody who's worked in the Nintendo program, people always forget I've seasonally worked for Nintendo for about 5 years. People are willing to drop $350 on the Switch. Especially if they don't own one already, because it's still a great price for a gaming console, for a fucking hybrid one, too, that you can plop in your kid's hands and treat like an iPad.
Like it. There's nothing like it out there. Like, it's got that uniqueness to it as well.
To parents, appealable to parents, too, not only for parental controls. You could be an iPad kid with it because it's a handheld. You get to put it in their hands and be like, you could be like, here's your shut the fuck up machine. Like, let mommy keep talking to this guy, please. Let mommy keep talking to this guy. He's really hot. I want to get his number.
To be fair as well,
if they don't own a Switch already, $350 is a good price tag. So I think people are absolutely going to be willing to.
It's even cheaper than an iPad.
Exactly. So people and it can it's a better gaming machine than an iPad, obviously, because it's designed to be. So people are willing to spend that money. So I think people will definitely be willing to spend it on a Switch too, if it's got enough upgrades for the hardcore gamers.
And then adding on to that, like, because David called it a shut the fuck up machine for kids. It's like, I think it is like a much better shut the fuck up machine for kids in the sense that, like, for at least for iPads and stuff, if they're not playing games and such, right? They're just going to be like, just watching YouTube and just kind of like vegetating a bit, right? But in the regards of the Switch, they're actually going to be moving their hands. They're actually going to be like, doing, depending on the game, I guess, it's like you're going to be doing a lot of thinking, like for the most part, on the fly.
Still with some culture. Instead of just fucking sitting there watching PewDiePie and like getting whatever garbage.
No disrespect to Felix though, but
no disrespect to Felix, but instead of whatever garbage YouTuber, like prank YouTubers they're watching, or like kissing pranks, TikToks, whatever the shit is that they'll find on an iPad,
they'll actually be doing something.
They're
gonna
get exposed to motherfucking 1,000-year door, and that is what the culture that I want my kids to get exposed to, as opposed to whatever. He still hasn't
finished RPG, by the way, guys.
Oh no! Listen. When I go up to Canada, 7.5-hour car ride. When I'm going up to Canada.
Can you finish it by then? Okay, but no, you would not be able to finish 1,000-Year Door within 7 hours. There's no earthly fucking way.
I probably can't finish RPG too. I mean, assuming I play it the whole. Well, I mean, my Switch is gonna die. Like between that period, but like during like the car ride.
You can get like those portable batteries.
I probably could, yeah, but that's what I'm going to be spending on the car ride when I'm heading up to Gommel. So that's definitely what I'm going to be occupying. And now I have an OLED, so it's not going to look like shit.
Can I ask you a question? If someone switched out your OLED's console for the normal one, would you tell the difference? Like, could you tell the difference, like, off a glance?
Absolutely. It's discernible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's way brighter. It's an OLED screen. The screen, the console itself is not bigger, but you know how on the normal Switch, like, like it's got, like, it doesn't take up the whole frame?
Yeah.
On the OLED, it does.
And I even saw that the colors and the image is also, you can tell like it's different off of the OLED to
less
the
burn-in reduction. It's an OLED
Yeah.
screen instead of an LCD one. So
Yeah.
I was thoroughly unimpressed by the OLED when Nintendo announced it until I saw it. And then I'm like,
And
yeah,
then you
know,
actually
that's...
like played it.
Then I was literally like, if you don't own a Switch, there is no reason not to buy this one instead. For only $50 more. And it comes with more internal storage as well. So
yeah, that too, especially.
If Nintendo
so
like does
more
like
going for it.
Yeah, so if Nintendo does the slight, like, micro, tiny increases that they do from generation to generation, while still always being a generation behind, as they are one to do if that's what it takes for them to focus on the actual quality of their games, as they are one to do as a company, and as they're gonna be doing forever. If I had to guess, like, and we're just spitballing specs here before we have to move on.
Yeah.
350 normal version, 400 deluxe, the normal one's going to come with 64 gigs of internal storage. Deluxe is going to have a 128. If I had to guess. What else? It'll have let's see.
Well, I have a question after this.
Maybe the base model will still be 720, and then on handheld, and then it'll go up to 1080 on the upgraded version. Or 1440. Let's go with that. Like 1080 on the base model and then 1440 on the handheld. I don't think they go back to 1080
after this. Like, I feel as if, like, you know, you could only go up from here. So, but they're not going to go 4K. It's going to be 1440.
Bold here, it'll handle 4K docked. On
4K docked? I can see
TVs. I think it's time for Nintendo to do it.
Because the thing is too, and, you know, this may come off and sound mad privileged to, like, a bunch of people here, but 4K TVs are fucking everywhere. And like your local Micro Center, Best Buy, wherever the fuck you go, I don't see like non-4K TVs that much anymore. Practically everything that I see that is on display are usually 4K TVs. So at the very least, I think it's just been the amount that we have nowadays. It's just like been so saturated in the market that like, you know, if you have a 1080p TV, it's like, it's not the end of the world either. No one's saying that like, oh, your TV's shit, but it's just more so that like, as far as like the market's concerned and like kind of what we see nowadays, like at stores, it's mostly 4K. So like, you know, I would not be surprised if Nintendo's finally like, you know, kind of realized that, and they just sort of thought like asked the R&D people, it's like, yo, so what do you think? Should we just keep it 1440 or should we just push this to 4K? It's like, yo, bro, everyone got a 4K TV now. It's like, fuck, okay, yeah, fine. Like,
they do judge it based on that market. I will say, you know, the Wii was a very awkward time. It was a composite console that was released like during the same period as the Xbox and the PlayStation 3. Xbox being the one that can handle HDMI. Not everyone had HDMI televisions yet. It was during the transitional period. So while yes, it was unfortunate that it was still stuck on a composite console. I mean, besides the fact that like there's like vaporwave Wii stuff now, which is really cool, which I appreciate as an aesthetic. You know, I think they judge it based on the market. I didn't have an HDMI television yet. At least I don't think I did. So, bing, bang, boom. We still had those three things. It was an awkward period. So maybe they do judge it on the market. So I like that take, Dennis. Nintendo actually paying attention to the market and seeing what people actually have to try to ensure those sales. And I agree with it. And them making it 4K. Because also it's going to get... docked, yes. Because it's going to get to the point where that's still a generation behind. So it's a safe bet for Nintendo, because the next console, whenever that'll come around... Because does the Xbox and the PlayStation, can it support 8K? No, right? I'm pretty sure it's only 4K.
Oh, hell no, not
Okay,
no.
so it's not behind then. Never mind. So who knows? It could very well... I take that back then. It could very well still probably be 1080, like, max output. Their general audience still wouldn't care. People on Twitter will roast it once it comes out, or once, like, the specs get announced and be like, oh, Nintendo
they'll roast
behind.
it and then they'll buy it anyways.
Yeah. And we'll talk about buying it. The one sad thing about this is that I think they're waiting till the end of the year to announce it to see how much more sales they can squeeze out of the Switch to see if it can just barely get past the PS2. Because it might not with the way it's going now if they're going to announce the Switch 2. And that
I think that's a Hail Mary.
That would suck because the Switch is really close.
It's not that much time. There's not much time left.
But that's why that they're waiting until the end of the year to announce it and not talking about it in this June Direct.
But you know,
or making a separate Direct.
I even think them announcing it like later by the end of the year, I think is actually pretty appropriate considering like it's the final year of the Switch, right? 2024, let's say just thematically. It's the final year of the Switch.
It has to be at this point.
But that's what I mean. Like, it makes sense that, like, yeah, they would choose the end of the year for them to announce the new Switch because it's like, you know, it's like a proper send-off almost, I feel. Because it's like, it's been, again, I think it's thematically appropriate because for one, what they say, 9 years now?
9 years since they announced it. The Switch has been around for 7.
For 7, okay. So by that point, 8 years that it's been around. Which, you know, for a console's lifespan is pretty fucking long now that I think about it. I mean, well, maybe not comparing it to like Xbox and Xbox 360 just because like those also were around for a while. Like, so
it is still relatively long. Like the GameCube PS2 era was like 5 years, roughly. 5-6 years.
But that's what I mean. Okay,
7's
8
longer,
years.
man. Yeah,
8 years, more than half a decade. I feel that's pretty long for a console's lifespan.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel as if for the Switch, it's been their workhorse. I think it's been like, even historically speaking, I think I'd even say it's like they're the workhorse for them. Like, just for not even like I mean, as far as like flagship products go, like I feel as if like this is probably Nintendo's like, maybe not biggest, so to speak, but I would have to say it's definitely their most successful one, considering where they were before with the Wii U and how much of a disaster that was financially. And I mean, you know, I feel as if like even for the Wii U, for some reason, I always just like to think there's always like this little small circle of like diehard Wii U, like, not fanboys, but like they'll defend it because like they'll say like it wasn't that bad and everything, like the gamepad is fun and whatever, like, you know, whatever their like takes may be. Like, I mean, personally for me, it's like I thought it was fine. I just, you know, just objectively looking at it through a numbers perspective, it didn't do well. It's just, you know, what most of us are all saying. Like, you know,
like
you can
13 million units. Or like 14
compared
million
to the Switches,
units,
which is
141
there you
million
go.
units.
There you go. Wait, that's why we're just saying from a numbers perspective, the Wii U just wasn't producing them. So
it's the third house. It's actually not Nintendo's high selling system.
Was it the N64?
Nope.
Super Nintendo?
Nope.
NES?
Nope.
The DS?
Yeah, baby, the Nintendo DS. 154. It was 1 million short of the PS2. The Nintendo DS. 1 million short. A fucking handheld was like almost 1 million short. But that's it. And the Switch is about 14 million left. Can they sell that Can they sell that much by the time the Switch 2 comes out? We don't know. We don't know when the thing's gonna drop.
Saying, like, you know, when it came to handhelds, like Nintendo was king, and PlayStation, at least Sony, you know, for speaking specifics here, Sony was pretty close on taking that crown if they didn't fumble the fucking PSP, which, you know, I mean, granted, I hear nothing but good things about the PSP. Like, I hear anyone who's ever even had one just love it to high heaven, and like
PSP
they think it's
was
just
about
like
80 million. Yeah,
that's pretty fucking close.
That thing was way before. That thing was way ahead of its time.
The only thing, too, that PlayStation and I think even Sony don't do compared to Nintendo is that they do incremental product updates for their consoles. So, like, for the DS, we had, like, 4 different iterations before they moved on to the 3DS.
DS Lite, the DSi. Yeah.
Which, I mean, you know, people can criticize it all they want, right? But people still bought those. And I think even, like, the DS Lite, before they went on to the 3DS, was, I think, arguably their best fucking one. It just was so sleek, was probably I think it was, like, the sexiest
Debatable. I agree to an extent, but the back plate was a little flimsier. Mine broke. The DSi wasn't only sturdier, but it was the first Nintendo console that had a fucking app store. Well, actually, the Wii was. Never mind. My bad.
I think nothing was worse than the original DS. If you guys love that design, I'm not taking nothing away from you.
Oh, that fucking brick.
The blockiest, chunkiest fucking
with the
thing
buttons
ever.
That cut your fucking fingers because of how sharp they were when you used them. They sent us Mario 64 to play on that shit. Mario 64 was your choice? Regardless, Nintendo definitely does what some of these other companies don't. We're anxious to see what the Switch 2 is going to be able to pull off. And At the very least, one thing we know about the Switch 2 is that it's very likely not gonna lead to the closure of any gaming studios.
Like Xbox, which, if you guys haven't heard, in this season of layoffs and corporate cuts in several sectors, Xbox is also one of them. And I honestly think for this year alone, like, I mean, maybe Nintendo has also kind of been doing the same, but we just don't know about it, considering like it's mostly a lot of Japanese
studios. Did they
studios.
shut down the studio that they said did a bad job with Metroid Prime 4?
I don't think they shut them down.
Did they just pull the project, which would indirectly shut down the studio?
They're not under their umbrella.
That's true. This case is different, right? Because it ain't the season of the Switch yet, but sure as hell the season of the Witch, especially for these companies right here. If you guys don't know yet, this also dropped today. Microsoft, as we all know at this point, they purchased Bethesda in its entirety, as well as Activision Blizzard before, which was the biggest merger. But they bought Bethesda some time ago. And Bethesda has a lot of studios under their belt, right? That have made some amazing games for them. Ones that are actually the ones that get people to buy Xboxes, right?
Not Starfield.
Not Starfield, no. So you would imagine that as a gaming company, these are the ones that you'd want to pour all that funding into as one of the biggest companies, period, beyond gaming companies in the world, really. Nope. Microsoft has closed Arcane Austin, which was responsible for Redfall, Hi-Fi Rush, Tango Gameworks, and even more studios than that. Shut down all of them. All those people, all those hardworking game devs, artists, all those amazing people out of a job. Out of nowhere. When you thought for sure that maybe it would be a little better with Microsoft, this company, purchasing them to try to get them to produce some titles for their console, which is underselling compared to the other ones, as it quite frankly should, because it's not very good. Although apparently the Xbox... oh no, I'm looking at the Xbox One. See, right there, I got baited. I got baited insanely hard because, like, the Xbox One is the console above the PlayStation 5. I got confused because all the names are the fucking same on those pieces of shit bricks. No, the PlayStation 5 sold 50 million and the Series X is at 21.
Wait, how much PS5 again?
50.
And Series 1 was, you said 18?
20. 21.
Yeah, that's almost Wii U numbers.
As
that's
it should
Wii
be.
U numbers.
Bro, the Wii U's, like... Not, well, it's kind of far below it. It's like 6 million below it, I suppose. Yeah.
But that's basically in that whole, like, threshold.
Look, I'm not trying to... There's no way to say it without insulting nobody, so I'm just gonna power through it. Like, if you're a casual gamer, it's whatever. If you don't understand these things, which I hope more people do, because I don't want people to support Microsoft after all this fuck shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like a gamer, like a hardcore gamer, and you bought an Xbox this generation, like... You're dumb.
Your golden years was 360, bro.
Like, let it go. Let it go. Like, the 360...
thing is, too, your Xbox is a glorified PC. Think about that. Just fucking think about that.
What reason is there to own a fucking Xbox now? And the reasons, the thing I don't
your
understand... Your
exclusives are shit, too.
And the thing
which
I
you don't even have any.
That's what I'm saying. You know, they buy out these studios, and we think, the Activision Blizzard one, the merger that was so big, to the point where the FCC stepped in. Or not the FCC, the FTC, the Trade Commission, my mistake. The communication, I said the Communications Commission. The Trade Commission is the one that was intervening on this, because goes to show how much the government knows about fucking video games as well. They thought Microsoft was going to have a monopoly on the gaming market. And us gamers, we knew that even if with this one going through, they're fucking not. Even we knew that because of Nintendo and Sony and Steam, of course, and PC gaming being what it is. We all knew that they were not going to have a full monopoly. But it was getting dangerously close to that point, to the point where the Trade Commission almost blocked it. That is how big this merger was. This is what they do with it. The studios that have produced their actual successful games. The ones that make people actually buy an Xbox. The ones that make people even remember that there's a different Xbox this generation compared to the PlayStation 5 and the Switch, which overshadow it so unfucking believably hard. The Switch sold 141 million. The Xbox 20. That is comical. That's so bad. That's so fucking bad. So what is Microsoft gonna do? We're gonna buy out these studios because we have no fucking creative, like, juices. Banjo-Kazooie, we still own that shit. We're not gonna make nothing with it. Here's the thing, right?
God.
They're gonna get them to produce good games for them. No. Now, this is what we're gonna do. Game underperformed a little bit. Whether it was like shitty marketing, whatever, I don't know. Still just like, no reason to buy an Xbox, underpowered compared to the PS5, or at the very least, no reason to buy it because of Sony's exclusives and not being able to like amass or compare to Nintendo for the hybrid nature of the console and their exclusives. And instead they shut down these studios. And I don't get it.
We don't get it. We just don't get it.
I don't get it. And the only reason I can think of is they don't want to like fund these studios when they don't like give them like these, when they give them these crazy unrealistic expectations, give them workhorse hours and everything to produce these games that they put ridiculous expectations on for the amount of people that actually bought their shitty fucking brick console. Instead of blaming themselves, instead of blaming the people who have resulted in these shit decisions from these consoles for years, because the Xbox One got memed on as well. Phil Spencer's fault, his team's fault. No. All they have gotten over the years after the Xbox has failed time and time over and over again are fucking promotions and then talented game developers who actually make good games who have nothing to do with the shitty decisions these fucking corporate cock-for-brain business majors get. They're the ones who lose their job over it. It's fucking disgusting the way that so many Western, game publishers, not developers, game publishers treat their developers. It's fucking revolting. And instead of just blaming every matter of, bad decision-making that these companies make regarding the Xbox, they blame the people who actually make the games for the companies that they bought out in the first place. How about instead of shilling out however many millions of dollars for these studios just to flush them out and liquidate them so people lose their jobs, you actually look at what the competition is doing right. I just don't get it. There are rumors around the bend that Xbox is just throwing in the towel and that they shouldn't make consoles anymore, and I hope to fucking Christ that's true. Even though maybe it would spell a monopoly for Sony or something, I don't know. But the point is, it pisses me off so much that just talented artists, talented game developers, people who go to school for this stuff, go into debt, getting their fucking degrees for this kind of shit, to make games for companies as big as Microsoft, lose their job because of the shitty decisions of people who probably don't even fucking play video games. That is a pure situation of Nintendo do what Micro don't. Full fucking stop.
And it's been like that for years now, too. Because, it's not really been anything different the last, couple of years from what we've seen. And, even during, the pandemic era where, all of us were just kind of all inside and just, I don't know, vegetating away and playing video games for fucking hours, because we just couldn't go outside. I was pretty happy with my Switch, of course, but, the more we ever heard about, what Xbox was doing, I was even surprised that, now that I'm looking back, I'm pretty sure, because everyone was scalping everything back then, and especially, even graphics cards, which you guys all know about. I feel as if for a lot of them who fucking bought out, Xbox Series X's and S's, it's they weren't moving, I bet, for fucking months. They were just sitting there gathering dust because nobody wanted one over a PS5.
The S was the highest selling console of the COVID period. Because it was the only one people could get.
Yeah. Because
at least in stores. Plus, it was cheap. That's the only thing I could give about it. It was $300, but it was an all-digital one, yeah.
Price points, of course, are a big competitive...
Matter.
Yeah, they are. They do. They're a very competitive, selling point for a lot of products, of course. But,
dude,
it's just
this is the studio that made The Evil Within. That game was huge.
Different era though now, because this was also the same company and studio that said we want Halo, we want to actually own it, but they haven't done anything with it. David over here doesn't play Halo. I used to, and I and a bunch of the others in the community hate what they're doing with it because they're not doing anything with it. Practically Infinite was supposed to be a 10-year fucking a dedicated service that they were just gonna continuously add in content and such. It's basically a live service. There's gonna be the live service, they said. But then they've basically said that, as far as where we think Halo should be heading, we're not gonna be doing it on Halo Infinite, and we're gonna be making Halo 7 now, and we're saying goodbye to this game.
Can you see this? Well, it's backwards, so I don't think you can read it.
I can read it.
It's like a lava controller that says Microsoft removes a feel the burn tagline because of poor timing because of the studio closures.
Gosh.
Look at this. Oh my god, they removed a feel the burn today tagline from a blog post about a new Xbox controller with magma on it after it was called out for poor timing after several studio closure announcements. And can I say, for a company that's been begging to have like more Japanese developers because of all the criticisms they get about Western game devs, they just shut down one of the best teams located in that region in Tango that literally delivered one of their most well-received games in all of last year.
Which one was it? Sorry, I was out of the loop for
Hi-Fi Rush, I believe. Yeah.
Probably.
I don't understand. Is it a tax write-off thing again? Is this the thing, Dennis? The thing that fuck my balls. The thing that I can't the thing that I can't fucking understand, or that I can understand, is that this just feels like a late-stage capitalism thing. And as far as like the Western gaming industry goes, I feel like this is only gonna get worse. I'm gonna get full doomer for a minute here. I need you all to bear with me. I feel like it's a late-stage capitalism thing. Look at Warner Brothers. They literally took away or shut down a movie that a bunch of people worked on in Coyote vs. Acme because they realized we can stand to make more money off of using it as a tax write-off. Mm-hmm. Is this because this is I can't understand any reason for them to spend as much money as they do on these devs just to liquidate the studios. They have to be profiting off of it somehow.
Oh, no, absolutely.
It's just a matter of just mix. Yeah.
It's definitely a mix of them cutting their losses even, and then also just like trying to profit off of the loss as well, because that's what ideally a business is supposed to do when they're in situations like this. But I feel though, like reputation wise, I think they're forecasting honestly that they can weather through this, and like because they also kind of know, I feel like maybe in Microsoft's case, like yeah, they'll be mad at us, like speaking of the fans from their point of view, it's like, oh yeah, they'll be mad at us for like a couple years, and then once we bring back once we like release like a banger or two here or whatever, like we'll be back in their good graces. It's very much like the cycle that kind of happens with a lot of companies where like
what banger? One of the studios that made their bangers are gone.
But that's what I mean though, like but if that is the way that I was gonna get to that, like if that's the way that they're going now, where like they're axing a lot of like their heavy hitters, and now it's just kind of like, what are you now then? Because it's like all we know you as, Microsoft, is you're just a company that buys companies. You don't really do anything with them. You just buy them to kind of put them on a shelf and just say, haha, we got Blizzard now. And I mean, like, maybe that was a good thing that you did buy Blizzard, but now I'm just not so sure no more, because it's like, I don't even know what the fuck you're gonna do with it.
Well, the next Overwatch hero is allegedly supposed to be completely AI generated. That rumor's around the bend. Just reason number 573 to not play that piece of shit dog-ass fucking TF2 ripoff, but dude, look at this quote from Phil Spencer. One thing I won't do is push against creative aspirations of our teams. When a team like Rare wants to do Sea of Thieves, when a team like Obsidian wants to do Grounded, when Tango wants to do Hi-Fi, when everyone thought they were probably doing The Evil Within 3, I want to give the teams the creative platform to go and push their ability to push their aspirations. Fucking fire this prick. Honestly. Fire the whole studio, the whole teams behind it. Like, the failures are Xboxes, not these studios. The failures are them, because you fucking stupid rich pricks are the ones irresponsible with your money, don't know how to handle it. It's the same as that stupid piece of shit mall I work at. Like, people who own it are the reason it's failing. Not the fucking tenants that are there who are actually the only things that actually work about this place. It's usual CEOs just blaming the fucking little guys or taking it out on them when they can. It just feels like fucking, again, to get a little doomer about it for a second, it feels like late-stage capitalism. They have to be profiting off this somehow. They have to realize it's more profitable to just buy these studios up and liquidate them for like a fucking tax write-off with a government that's going to promote that kind of tax write-off because our government's fucking bought and paid for. There can't be any other explanation. And the worst part is that, like, shit like this is only gonna get worse and worse and worse because of the way our government works and how our government's bought and paid for, because what we need is a trust buster. I've said that a million times on the show that we need another Teddy Roosevelt. We're never gonna have that as long as Citizens United is still in place. Citizens United is never gonna get overturned ever because we have a completely conservative Supreme Court now. People who are elected for life. That is how the gaming industry, like, trends in this direction, my friends. There's reasons why the things are the way that they are. And it's one of the reasons I will literally never fucking buy an Xbox. Ever. Even before this shit, there was no reason to! Why would you ever do that when you can get a PC? Fucking God, dude. Fuck Xbox, dude. Fuck Phil Spencer. Fire that whole fucking team.
Can I also just say something too? Like, I feel as if, especially now, like, you know, we, like, the little guy, so to speak, has just been getting, like, pushed around, like, more and more and more, that I almost feel as if, like, the powers that be, like, are not worried about us, like, ever, like, just fucking throwing our hands up in the air and just saying, fuck it, let's just burn it all down. Because, like, I honestly truly feel like if they just keep, like, going in this direction, because, like, I mean, let's move on to now, the other bit of news that we have today on this beautiful Friday. We have the whole Helldivers Sony issue.
You're taking this one at the helm, my friend. You played the game. You were firmly at the forefront. You were at, like, the battlegrounds for freedom and democracy and all the things that are worth fighting for, that the companies who actually make these games or that publish these games
spit on.
So I'm going to take a little bit of a backseat while Dennis explains this situation for you all real quick.
Because, as y'all know, as of this week, a couple days ago, we had news from Sony, PlayStation, cocksuckers. They basically had announced that in an upcoming update for Helldivers, there was going to be a security update that it will come along with it, which was that you need, not that you can have, you need a PSN account along with, even if you're on PC, you need a PSN account in order to play Helldivers in certain regions. If you were in the United States and several other regions, you did not have to worry about this flat out at all. You did not have to worry about it. But if you were in there was a whole fucking laundry list of countries that were going to be affected if this update went through, and it was a huge fucking list of countries, basically meaning millions of fans of the game and just players in general were not going to be able to play, and probably wouldn't even be able to download the game even if they wanted to off of the store, because they just basically said, haha, lol, fuck you, you can't play it because you don't have a PSN account. But the other part of it was that some countries didn't even have PSN available for their country. So they were just doubly fucked at that point. Like, you just could not play at all because they just didn't have PSN.
Something like 170 regions, something like that, suddenly cannot play the game.
Nor download it.
Or download it if they don't have it already. But if they bought and paid for it already, you suddenly cannot play it anymore.
And now, fast forwarding a little bit, David shaking his head over there, as we all were on this bit of news, because spoilers ahead, they took back their decision and said, sorry, we ain't gonna do that. We heard your guys' feedback, which means you guys were so angry that we were like, okay, all right, fine, we won't do it no more. Spoilers ahead, yeah. They announced that they were taking back this decision because there was the vitriol on the internet over this decision was biblical. It was insane.
Time again, to quote Ludwig Agren, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Time and time again, the power of public pressure triumphs over dogshit corporate decision making. But the thing is with this, Dennis, with this statement, I don't care. Helldivers was art. The game is art.
No, it is art.
The game's incredible. It's so rare. Like, so many companies want to, like, they want to like copy what Helldivers did. They want to see like what they did and be like, what got people to actually care? Because there's so many companies that try to make like these huge like overnight sensations or seemingly overnight sensations.
Yep.
And they can't. Helldivers got incorporated in the gaming culture real quick. Dennis and our friends in the group chat would come at me whenever I ask about the game, be like, what's it about? They'd say it's about freedom. It's about democracy. I didn't know what any of that shit meant.
But David loves that shit too.
But I love that shit too, apparently. I didn't know what any of it meant, but you see what I'm saying. It was memed already. It was so ingrained in the culture already.
Yeah, it penetrated the culture and like kind of just like, spread itself like pretty quick, like overnight even. Like,
and occasionally
better than Power World, I'll even say.
And occasionally we become reminded that unfortunately these things are made by corporations that are either seemingly out of touch or oftentimes hand in hand the greediest piece of shit motherfuckers that have ever existed and might ever exist in the history of time.
I'm gonna even go and say this. For Sony's case, especially, Final Fantasy is not your most successful game. Rebirth and all of that is not your most successful game. It is Helldivers. And I'll say it again. It is your most successful fucking game of this year.
Helldivers?
Bar none.
You mean the game that has overwhelmingly negative reviews on Steam? That game's their most successful? Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, why is that, Dennis?
And you almost shit the bed, Sony. You almost shit the fucking... Oh, actually, no. You took a little bit of an Amber Heard turd like thing on the bed a little bit there. But thankfully, we managed to get that cleaned up a bit. But...
yeah, it's the kind of turd that just like winds up coming right back in and then coming out the other way. Like in that South Park episode on the way back out. And why did Sony do this? To arbitrarily just inflate your numbers to get more people on your PSN accounts? Something that, by the way, a lot of gamers don't necessarily want to do because the track record of the PlayStation Network, as far as its security goes, it's not the best. They've been hacked. Cyclically, Dennis. Fucking cyclically.
This shit was in the news, guys. Remember?
You remember the huge PS5 hack a couple of years ago?
Yeah, exactly. Even the PS4. There was even that huge PS4
all
hack
that
from
credit card information and PayPal information that's just gone to the wind, that all of a sudden you're gonna get calls from these fucking like Russian cyber hackers on your phone. How did they get my number? They got it through your fucking PlayStation. Yeah. That's where they got that shit from. Yeah. And now you're forced to sign into that on the PlayStation Network for a game that's not even on the fucking console that you're playing it on. You're on PC, and you have to log into that shit. It's the same thing as like trying to like play Assassin's Creed on PC or whatever, and you have to log into
Ubisoft, especially is another fucking like
Ubisoft Uplay. Look at us, we're just like Steam. Imagine just being Gabe Newell and just sitting in your office doing nothing, and you're just winning. And you just win. You don't have to do anything to counteract like the fucking like constant like shooting in the foot that these other companies are doing.
The thing is too, like I'd say Valve is in a bit of a race with others, but their main, I think, competitors, especially like just in light of recent products that they've released, i.e. the Steam Deck, the only one that I feel as if they're even trying to compete with is basically the Switch, because as far as kind of what the Switch represents, it's an affordable gaming console that is also a PC.
That's why I'm grateful as fuck for Nintendo, no matter all the different fuck shit that they do.
Yeah.
You know,
but
that's
like,
why I'm still grateful for it.
And the thing is, too, like with Valve and even like compared to everyone else, it's like Valve's been in their own lane just printing money with no trouble from board of directors or whatever the fuck, like their entire lives. And I feel as if it's just one of those things where maybe a finance guy like out there will probably say something different to me. But like when the moment you turn your company public, and I've said it before, you're at the mercy of all these trustees that are part of your board. And they could fuck you at any time. They almost, I'd even say the moment you go public and you get all these people in there in the same table, they want you out immediately almost sometimes. They're going to do everything they can to get you out and just basically run shit on their own or put their own guy in charge so that, it's like, their show, not really yours. Like the CEO, I think it really depends on the politics of it too, because no matter what, Amazon is Bezos' baby. For like, I mean, it was made by him and his wife and such, and like, they were together on it. But as far as like kind of who we see as like the face of the company, it's been Bezos. Same for Tesla and even, Facebook for a sec. Mark Zuckerberg and plus, Elon Musk. They're the faces of the company. But it's like for a lot of people, especially, I got off on a tangent there, but my main thing is that like, as far as Valve goes, like it's just another example of like, I feel like how if like a company, I don't know, like you should be private in my opinion. Like, I don't want to answer to people. Fuck all you. Like, this is my company.
Well, it's different with Valve because of how good they are at what they do. They never
Well, that's what I mean, yeah. But that's what I mean too. Like, they don't need a board of trustees because they already got great guys behind everything. Even if like Half-Life 3 is never going to be coming out. It probably isn't at this point. But like, as far as like whoever pitched the Steam Deck, I honestly probably would have been like, yo, fuck yeah, get all the money for this guy to make that. Like, just give it to him. Give it all the R&D shit that you can possibly can, and just let him work on it. And we'll like kind of just, baby it from there. And from that alone, like, Steam Deck was like hugely financially responsible. David, can you look up how much the Steam Deck has sold ever since it's been released?
$1.62 million units in 2022. Their report estimated that the Steam Deck would pass 3 million units sold since its launch sometime during 2023.
Okay.
So Steam Deck has, I think that's underperformed?
I would say no, just because of at least the market that it's trying to appeal to. Like, most people who have, let's say, a Xbox 360 or even PS5 are probably not going to be dropping another $350 to $550 or $600 for a Steam Deck. But I feel also that, like, it wasn't really so much about the money, because if it was, then I'd almost say that that Valve would have been trying way harder to like be pushing this like marketing wise, but they didn't really, because I almost feel I feel as if they even thought like this is going to be a success no matter what. And the numbers are, let's say, maybe going to be a little bit underwhelming, but it sent a message that Nintendo, at the very least, has a competitor when it comes to these like sort of hybrid consoles. And going back, sorry again to Helldivers, sorry, I'm on a tangent there, but at least going back to kind of like the outrage that we saw from the Helldivers community, I haven't seen a community that fucking angry in so long. It was actually like really like almost heartwarming to see every single one of them basically calling out Sony and saying that they're a bunch of pricks. And like, there was just like, the outrage alone was hilarious, considering like, just whatever their fucking, I guess, train of thought was, that they thought this was going to be okay. Also, like, excluding whole countries from playing your game is insane. Excluding them is insane.
Well, borderline killed the game.
It almost borderline killed
reason.
No.
It's just another classic case of like these, again, big game publishers just having no idea how to treat this beloved art form. The gaming industry sucks so much now. It really, really fucking does.
It's become
crazy.
Bigger. It's become bigger than it ever has been, but it's also been arguably, I think, just off of recent news and context alone, the shittiest it's ever been. And people can maybe argue that a little bit, but I think once a lot of, especially bigger companies like Microsoft and Sony, realized that, like, oh shit, because I'm going to say this right now. I'd even say that for Sony and even Microsoft, like, their biggest products used to be like, for at least, let's say Microsoft's case, right, was their operating system, Windows. Now, when the Xbox 360 came out, that was their fucking flagship product. And same for Sony. Not their TVs. The fucking PS2 was their most successful product, I almost feel. And once they had realized that too, that like, as far as like, what our moneymakers are, like, I mean, well, Microsoft and Sony's case, like, they are, I guess, in a way, they're tech companies, but they're very much on the consumer level tech side of things, like, games, game consoles, televisions, smart fridges, like it's like shit like that. Like not so much like as in Google, who's working with AI or Meta and such. Like the products and services that they're providing are far more different, more on the side of entertainment side of things for Microsoft and Sony's case. But, as far as like kind of, I suppose like what we have just been seeing from them lately too, it's like, what everyone was saying that like the PS5 is going to body the Xbox. I mean, yeah, sure. But it's like, I'm not really that impressed either. To be fair, like with the PS5 and what it's just been doing.
It also came out during a pandemic year.
Yeah, which like around that time nobody could get one anyway. So it was just like
my whole job in 2020 was telling people that they're not getting one. Like, like people would literally just come up to me and be like, "Boss, PS5, boss," and I'd be like, "Nope." But I just don't understand like how out of touch you have to be to literally take a game that became such an overnight success so quickly, making you so much money.
You should have just left it alone, Sony.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Have we reached the point of late stage capitalism where just doing anything at all is considered like a good business decision or is considered like a good way forward? Or are they trying to just manipulate the system in their way again, just to find a way to make them more money? It makes me so sad that the gaming industry is just clearly being ran by the greediest, like most fucking like business degree, like Yale motherfuckers that you've ever seen in your life. It has to be at this point. People who don't understand the art form whatsoever. It just sucks. Like imagine if they were like in charge of like any other industry. Imagine if they were in charge of the literal art one. Which who knows, maybe they are. I don't know anything about like, art, like painting and stuff and like museum shit or whatever. Or movies, but that's a whole different thing. That's the corruption of Hollywood. That stems way beyond, corporate business greed or whatever. That's just actual like pedophilia monster shit. But like, yeah, it's so hard to try to understand. I don't know if the people at Xbox just have like a humiliation kink. And that's why they just like make all these decisions so just people can be like, yes, call us shitty. Well, I'm so bad. Step on me. I deserve it. Blah, blah, blah. And as far as Helldivers go, like, I just can't imagine, like, if that happened to me, like, for a game that I love, if I had to log into, like, a fucking PlayStation Network to play NASB 2, a game that I have become fucking, like, internationally ranked in from how much hours I have fucking put into that goddamn machine. All of a sudden, I have to log into the fucking PlayStation Network to play it, and my data is at risk just because some company decided, hey, we want access to it. The gaming industry is just run by fucking bored billionaires, man. It's why I'm grateful for Nintendo. It's why I'm grateful for Valve. Like, obviously, Nintendo, they're billionaires too, but, like, at least, like, they're so set in their ways that they don't make these dumbass decisions. It's, I don't know what to say. I mean, how did you feel, like, as an actual play, like, as someone who actually plays Helldivers, how did you feel? Has this turned you off from the game at all? Has this, like...
No, it hasn't turned me off from the game, but I think it's just more so, like, more solidified my hatred for the industry now more than it ever has been. Like, I mean, it's already kind of been there, like, my hatred for the industry, just kind of, like, I haven't really ever tracked or read the news, like, that hard about all of this, but, like, I paid attention when I heard that, like, that this was going on, and it just kind of was, the main thing that, like, really infuriated me about it was that this game was literally saving your ass. At the very least, it was printing money for you. And you almost fucked it up. They almost permanently fucked it. And it just, like, blows my mind that, like, it's like corporate boardroom types like this over in Sony, they can't just leave a good thing alone. They always have to just go the route of, like, like, how can we make more money off of this somehow? But it's like your method ensured almost no money coming towards you.
Dude, a friend of mine, or like a guy I used to know, posted a meme. Do you remember the fucking... I'm actually gonna play this right now. Hold on a second. Hold on a fucking... Because you're gonna laugh your ass off. We might even end it on this one. Check this out. Yakko Warner's Nations of the World singing what countries can no longer play Helldivers 2?
Haiti, Jamaica, Jamaica, Republic, Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Guyana, Belize, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, Suriname, and French Guiana, Barbados, and Guam. Albania, Iraq, and Iran, there's Syria, Jordan, both Yemen, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Bangladesh, Mongolia.
You get the point. You get the point. I died when I saw that. My God, I fucking died. What countries can't play Helldivers 2 anymore? And I'd like to say that on top of this, it's the nature is healing because of just the outcry of people on this. Helldivers fired their community manager for Discord. And they fired him because apparently he pissed off the community because he defended PSN. Yep, he removed every single role that he had in the Discord, and,
troll.
He cites asking players to do negative reviews as the reason?
What are you, baby?
I don't know, man. I mean, that happened as a public outcry. I can understand as somebody who's, like, supposed to represent, like, you know, the game or whatever, being like, hey, don't review bomb it, but, like, people did that because they love the game. And truth be told, as a community manager, the fact that you did not understand the very community that you were talking about there that you're supposed to represent... I don't know, fam. I never want anybody to get fired who loves their job and whatnot, but that was a blunder on your end, my friend. I'm sorry, Spitz. Yeah, well, at the very least, nature is healing. But I hope this podcast has informed you all of how insanely shitty the gaming industry is now, why it's important to support independent games as well as ethical practices for it and whatnot, and why it's more important to support artists than it's ever has been before. Because a lot of these people are going to start losing their jobs or have been losing their jobs to AI. These gaming companies want to do that to them as well, especially companies like Microsoft or Activision Blizzard, really, or Ubisoft, or Square Enix is a huge one as well. I forgot how gung-ho their CEO is on AI. I can only imagine how many people in that company roll their fucking eyes whenever those memos come around and be like, we're going to go back to the blockchain. I can only imagine. You can now own Cloud's sword.
An NFT of the bust or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Humiliation fetishes, all of them. There's reasons for why it's the way that they are, and I think it's more systemic than anything else, but as usual, the people at the bottom are the ones suffering. And they're the people who actually make these products great and, like, make them feel the way that you do, make you fall in love with the art form. They're the ones who are losing their jobs because of the piece of shit corporate suits who own it. That's what I fucking hated about college most. Whenever I had to take a class in the business building and I see those fucking uppity pricks, you know, like your Bradley T. Uppercrust, you know, from the fucking Goofy movie. You know, the actual physical personification of every single thing you want to punch in the face. Or Johnny Worthington from Monsters University. I forgot about him. Obviously, he's a big monster. I can't punch him. He's got giant fangs. He'll fucking eat me. But Bradley T. Uppercrust. You can get this smoke. You can catch these fucking hands, bitch. Fuck you, and fuck everything you stand for. Fuck your daddy's trust fund that's sending you to this university that you didn't even fucking qualify to be in because your fucking dumbass failed the spelling tests in middle school. But your daddy owns the firm, so... God, you get into fucking Yale or whatever fucking school that, you know, like, extremely Goofy movie takes place in. I don't even think they ever say. I don't think it was Yale. But point is, I'm gonna put, fuck, Bradley T. Uppercrust. I'm putting him on screen right now. This motherfucker is the guy who's running the gaming industry right now. It's this prick. This smug-looking fucker. And what I want you to do, all you listeners of this podcast... I was not
expecting a Bradley T. Uppercrust reference.
Well, it's the Bradley T. Uppercrust of the world, Dennis, that are running the gaming industry right now. So of course I'm gonna bring him up.
What a great name, though.
Fucking asshole.
Bradley T. Uppercrust.
You stupid jackass.
Up there with Squilliam Fancy Son.
Oh, fucking Squilliam don't even... Ugh. Squilliam's a different style. Squilliam at least is a successful musician. You know, Squilliam at least, like, knows how to conduct and, like, do some of the shit that he says. He just
did do
constantly...
everything Squidward couldn't do.
Don't rub it in. And just rubs it in his face, and that's what makes him an asshole. But at least Squilliam at least had a microscopic bit of talent. What the fuck could Bradley do? He had to cheat in the fucking X Games. That's your legacy? We're done. That's gonna do it for today's episode.
That was still a funny note to fucking end it.
We hope you learned a valuable thing about the gaming industry nowadays and knowing where to support ethical practices to support artists when they say artists and game devs, or just not even support, but just listen to them when they talk about the state of the industry, because they all have known this shit forever. Can't wait till the next Game Awards. Here's the plugs. You can check us out on youtube.com/Nintoonist, which is where most of you listen. We hope you enjoyed the show here. I'm going to put a bunch of stuff on screen, like all the links to articles and whatnot, because I know you guys want more visuals. You guys have given us good feedback on that. Shout out to that one commenter who said, why the fuck does this only have 38 views? You're a real one for that. Thanks, homie.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends, yeah. In part, yeah, we're going to be the CEOs, it's your fault. You're the one who's not telling your friends. You're the one who's not doing, your end of the fucking bargain. Tell your friends. What do you want me to do? I worked so fucking hard on this goddamn show, and it's doing worse numbers than the WNBA. And then I have this fucking guy telling me what to do with the thumbnails as if he's the one who has to fucking make them.
Hey, well, some of my thumbnails were fire, though.
Some of your ideas are fire. The idea for this one was fire, but I don't even know if it's applicable anymore because Sony went back on what they did.
Yeah, that's true.
No, and we didn't talk about the Drake Kendrick shit. So
we couldn't shimmy that in light of
I'm not saying we should have. It would have been dumb as hell if we talked about it in this episode. But regardless, Spotify, leave us a 5-star review if you guys enjoyed what you heard, and I know a lot of you did. You can't fucking deny it. This shit's like melted fucking golden butter in your ears. We love you all. Apple Podcasts as well, wherever you listen. Just leave us some good reviews. Tell your friends about it. We work hard on the show, and we know there's a pretty good subsect of you that have enjoyed this. Some of you have said it's your favorite podcast, which blows my mind. So thank you so much. That definitely flatters me. Me and Dennis work our fucking asses off on this shit. Believe you me, we do. So we hope you guys have felt a little bit of that love in return, and thank you for giving us a little bit of that back. So we love y'all.
Sony, I have something to say to you. I hate the way that you talk, the way that you walk.
I was going to say, now that you're here, let me speak on this.
I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk.